This is a beautiful day. First of all, I'd like to say something to my audience. Thank you for permitting me to be before you and giving me your attention. And I thank God for you. And I have to say in my mind, God loves you and I love you. And I'm learning to love God people more and more because of this teaching. And it showed me that there's really a true God that loves a true people. And so I want you to know, from my understanding, God truly loves you. And you can never lose sight on that. And I know that sometimes we go through different things in life, and that's a learning, those are learning curves. There's things that we have to go through or we are permitted to go through so we can learn how to overcome those things. But you must always remember that God agreed with you before you came here, that you will come down to this earth in a physical body because you are spiritual beings and you will have a physical experience. And that's why we're here. This is a school. This is a place you learn. And sometimes individuals may not see it from that way. They may see it sometime in their life is not cool. It's not what I was cut out for. But I'm going to tell you, there's nothing that could ever overshadow you that God won't remove. Never think that there's not to be good days and days of joy. If you stay within the confines of this ministry, stay under this ministry and listen, your days and that joy will come more and more, because you must understand that thought is to bring joy in your life. And if you ain't got joy in your life, it's some stuff you ain't been learning. So you need to know that. If you want to keep joy, stay amongst this ministry so you can have that joy. And God will bless you, people. God will bless you. And you need to know that. Now, let's get into this lesson. The money, the fish, the blessings, 2020. Now, most people are trying to say, well, what is it? People in the church will know that fish and money got some relationship when it comes to the teaching of Jesus. And this is where we're coming from. The money, the fish, the blessings, 2020. Now, we're going to come from Matthews, and we got to understand that all the things in the Bible, all the stuff in this Bible, is initiates writing. Never lose sight on that. That if someone said Jesus came and said this and that, then the initiates wrote a truthism under Jesus that you need to know. And the character of Jesus is a code name. And I know that literally most of us, even myself in the beginning, as I went to church, I learned that Jesus was a Eurocentric man hanging on a cross for the sins of the world. Now I understood that, and I a lot of times individuals don't bring this part out into the end because sometimes it's a turnoff for Christian people who came up in the church. But I got to tell you, I came up in there too. Okay? I came up in there too. And I was on my knees fasting and praying. And God worked miracles through me at that time when I called on Jesus like I did. Because I didn't know. I knew what I was taught to do. The same way you knew what you was taught to do. But as time went on, when God brought me to a certain realm of knowledge and thought came to me, or the Lord God came to me in a vision and said, I want you to be like us. All that started changing because he brought the book with him. See, he brought the book with me. You don't see me deviating from the book. When you see me teaching, I'm teaching out of the book. But the book that he brought me had Holy Bibles on, the white Bible, Holy Bibles on, and gold writing, but it was thicker than this. And that let me know that it was more to the Bible than I was reading and understanding. And it was more that I needed to know. And this is where I'm coming with you now. This ministry ain't like no other ministry you have seen before. No, no, no. It's like no other ministry, and I know that. This ministry was written about thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. Different individuals. See, what Socrates and some of the other boys said, that There is no great man in history, or no one to change history or put a dent on history that have not been written about before they are born. And see, that whole truth. I could go in James Dixon writing, I could go in Edgar Casey writing, I could go in Mel Blavatsky writing, I could go in Nostradamus, I could go in Edgar Casey writing, and many other writings. And I could see things about my life. I could see things about my family life. I could see things about where I was born at, and etc. Now, I didn't come to teach you about me. I came to teach you about thought. But I have to tell you what kind of messenger thought and Allah brought forth to you. So this ain't about me, but I have to discuss me so you can understand who I am and why I'm in front of you. I'm a messenger of Allah. I'm a messenger of thought, who you know as Melchizedek. And I am to bring that message so that message can make you whole, make you complete. You're going to hear me talk many times about the 5 divine laws, the 7 humanistic principles. And those 5 divine laws is morals. Now understand, I want you to see the cross now. This is what the cross really is about. Because the initiate came in the words of Jesus to tell you what the cross was all about. And you hear it in Luke, you hear it where he say, if any man fall after me, that's male and female, let him first deny himself. Take up his cross daily. He didn't say Jesus' cross. Take up his cross daily and follow me. And you got to understand what that means. You are your own cross. This is your cross. Our philosophy of this organization is a cross philosophy. This is your cross. This is the only cross you take up daily and follow. This is the only cross. But this cross have a definition. And you need to understand that. See, that's what they didn't tell you. See, they wanted to teach you someone from the Eurocentric point of view because they believed in sacrifices. But God didn't have his people, as they say, the children walking through the fire. It was not about human sacrifices for the children of Israel. God even had them being destroyed because of that. And you got to understand this. This is your cross right here. The top moral. You look up to God. That's moral. And how do you look up? Do you look outside? You look inside. It's moral. See, everything got to be understood to the inner part of man. It's the inner that causes the effects of the outer, and not the outer that bring about the conditions of the inner. Causes and effects are from within to the without. If you always think rightly, and all will be well on the outside. Use your time constructively and not destructively, because rest contends with change. In the outer, observe it without also changing your thoughts and feelings of oneself and others. You will not only waste your time, but you could easily lose yourself into a fool's paradise. And God don't want that. So you got to learn how to think within. And this organization is telling you and teaching you how to understand the Christ within you. Christ means anointed. It's not the last name to a man. It means anointed. And that anointing, God have created you in his image. And that anointing is in you. You just got to learn how to activate it. And this is what this is all about. Christ in you is what the hope of glory is all about. That God put in you, and you got to understand that. So when you get as you advance in this, you get to understand what trickery happened to you in the age of Pisces, the age of deception. You're moving out of that age, and that's what we're teaching you. We're teaching you the fullness of the gospel. That's what you're learning here, the fullness of the gospel. And that's what you need to know to get out of certain conditions of life. Now, we're going to go back to the topic of this lecture. Sometimes I have to get off to let the Holy Spirit do what it do. Because when they want you to know something, see, I realize a lot of people have called me and say, when you be talking, sometimes it's though I know you're talking to thousands of people, but sometimes it's like you're talking to me. Because they have to see that it's the anointing. That's what's working. And when the anointing wants to flow through a minister to get to a group of people, sometimes he have to go a little bit off course. But it's all right. Because somebody's being helped. And you need to see this. Now let's move on. The money, the fish, the blessings, 2020. Now, in 2017, I said, and y'all need to go back some and look at these lectures and trace back these prophecies. Because you need to know who's in front of you. In 2017, 2018, I said that 2018 was going to be a good year. 2019 was going to be a bad year. And 2020 was going to be a gruesomely bad year. It's in this book, Judgment of America, and that chart is in this book, Black Nostradamus Prophecy of American Future. It's already been written. It's written in 2006. It's written in 2009. Okay? So there's no doubt about whether the brother got the knowledge because it's in the books. It's been written already. What was going to happen from 2000 to 2020 is written in these books, these two books, people. And you need to understand that. It's a chart in there to show you. Good, bad, grievously bad. Economics, good, bad, grievously bad. Natural disasters, good, bad, grievously bad. And it went in that rotation from 2000 to 2020. Now, what's important is this lecture is extremely important because this lecture is going to let you see where you at today. See, most people think, oh, well, the Bible story was written and it was written about something that was going to happen 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and all that. No. It's not like that at all. This stuff is made here for you to understand what's going to happen today. See, they knew that if we're going to have what's called a latter days, and they need to give you enough information from you to go from one paradigm shift over to the other, from one age over to the other. And this is what this book did. Age is like 2,160 years. So they were preparing you for this age. And this book was preparing you for the time that we're living in right now. So you're going to see that a lot of these prophecies are going to sum up our time right now in the United States of America. And you need to understand that. Now, the money, the fish, the blessings. Now, I'm going to read this, and I want you to watch this very carefully because this is about today. Now, you got to understand why the initiates put this under Jesus, okay? Because Jesus, known as Horus in the Egyptian literature, and this book is part of the writing of the Satirian that came from ancient Egypt, the area of Alexander, Egypt, during the time of Ptolemy the First, okay? And you're going to understand that. A lot of talk about in Daniel about the Grecian Empire and etc. and how Ptolemy, and history show how Ptolemy the First became the first Eurocentric pharaoh. And that pharaoh powers from him ran all the way down to America right now, to Britain and America right now. And you need to understand that. A lot of things that people just don't know, because they literally read the Bible. The Bible must be seen in several ways. You must see Pesher, you must see Ramus, you must see Drush, and you must see the layers of the secret sod. You must see it that way. You can't just literally read the Bible and talk about, oh, I know what these stories are, because the majority of the preachers, 99.9% of them, they literally read you these stories and make them sound good. And they make Paul seem like Paul, a real man walking around, etc. They make Isaiah seem like Isaiah. They make Jeremiah seem like Jeremiah. And you start putting a picture of these people in your mind and not realizing that this book was written by initiates. And these energies of these different characters is what they want you to understand. And these characters have names, but what it is a type of netta energy that you got to understand. And that energy could have, you could have one named Shalom, one named Jesus, one named Israel, one named Joshua, one named Michael, and various names, and it's talking about one person. But it's talking about energy, a knowledge, a characteristic in that person that's going to come before humanity and do a great work for God. And you need to know that. And they haven't taught you that because they never told you what God really means. See, God is a netta. And the word netta describes an energy force of God that works in the life of his people, and especially in the life of his leaders. And you need to see this. Now, Matthew 17:25-27. What think of that? And this is credit to Jesus, the initiate having Jesus in this conversation, talk in this conversation. Okay. What think of thy Simon? And Simon is a priesthood holder. You know him as Simon Peter. You know the Catholic Church claim that they have their priesthood after Simon Peter. Okay. And you got to see this. You got to kind of get an understanding of what's going on. Okay. Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom and tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Peter said unto him, of strangers. Jesus said unto him, then are the children free? Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea and cast a hook. It's not a net now, he's talking about a hook. Cast a hook and take up the fish that first come up, and when thou have opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. That take and give unto them for me and thee. Now we got to understand that. Now I literally read that and expressed that in a literal sense. That's dealing with Peshed. Now we're going to take this to Ramus. I love it. We're going to take this to Ramus. Okay? I said that because that is the way that you read it. That is thought. So when you hear me use the term that take, that means that this is about thought. This is about doing what you're going to do with this in the will of God. And you got to understand that. This is about God intervening in this. This is about Melchizedek. Melchizedek gives the blessings. And we have to see that. This is about the blessings that God wants to give you. This is why the subject is the money, the fish, the blessings. God wants to bless his people in all they're doing. God wants to bless you. And as you see this, you can understand this. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to be able to look at this here. And I want you to be able to meditate on this, what we're saying here, so you can get a better understanding. Let the Holy Spirit work with you. Okay? Because there's something magical about this. There's something great about this. This is not a regular fish. Okay? And you got to see this, what God is trying to say. See, what it is, he's casting a hook and taking up the fish that first come up. Okay? That first come up. Now, when you see that first come up, who is that? See, that's about the true children of Israel. That's about the real children of Israel. That's about the stout-hearted ones that want to follow God. Them ones that really want to be a part of God. They are bringing forth their money to help the ministry. But they are not just bringing it forth to help the ministry. See, most people say they don't understand that, and they don't understand them, me, and thee. See, that money that is being used, that's coming out that fish's mouth, is to be used wisely through the will of God, that the whole house could be taken care of. Them, the fish, the people, me, the ministry of the messenger, thee, the ones who formed around it and building it and partaking in it. See, most people don't understand this, and they just read it and literally don't understand that this is about now, people. This is God's movement. This Jesus is about now. See, they placed it 2,000 years ago so they could trick you so you wouldn't know the move of God now, and you wouldn't know that there is a Jesus is to come. So they tell you the second coming of Jesus, and they don't tell you the first. They take the first and they orchestrate it in their way for you to see it, and that way you'll think that what they're saying is real, and the way that they're explaining God is real. I don't mean to holler people, but it's time to wake the heck up. See, the Jesus figure is to deliver you and put you in a nation, and ain't nobody put you in a nation yet. So you got many talking about I'm the messenger, on this, on that, and this and that, but you still in the same rut you was in before they came. Okay? It's time for you to try something new, people. It's time for you to wake up and see the truth now. I didn't come to play no game. I'm come to ask you to open your mind to God. Open your mind to God. That's what you need to do now. You know, many people say, well, I got my preacher. You could keep him if that's what you want. You think your preacher going to get you where you need to go? You keep him. Daniel already done said, many shall shine as the firmaments, and many shall go into everlasting content. They're content with what they got, and they don't see nothing more. Although the scripture done told you that there's a fullness of the gospel. Although they done told you that the Bible is in code. You don't want to hear none of that. All you want to hear what you hear. And that's why your church is shot down today. And that's why some of you right in front of me listening right now. Because you ain't got no church to go to like you once had. And being honest with you, it ain't going to be like that no time soon. You can wait till the wagon is broken down. See, God wants your attention now because he loves you. See, some of you are good children. And some of you are bad children. And I have to say it like it is. But God see beyond your bad. He see your good. It's like you have a child. Sometimes one child could be like, hey, just like a lamb. Tell them do something, okay, mama, okay, daddy. And the other, groaning and everything else. And sometimes you have to put the belt to their little behind. Okay? God is the same way about his children. But sometimes that little bad brat end up being a preacher. And that good one end up being good too. Keep on being good. So you can't take one and throw them out and say the other is this and the other is not. No. That's why they got parents. That's why the man and the woman is good to be in the house. And so when you see these mothers talking about, I don't need a man. Nah, that's not how God started up, my people. You need a man. You may not want a man, but you need a man. And vice versa. And you can't let this culture tell you what you don't need. You need a man, you know. And you need to learn how to respect a man. Some women who don't respect a man never respect their own father. And they don't look at it like that. Put checks and balances to your life and how you grew up. They ain't respect their father because their father wasn't in the house. And they look at it though, well, he just wasn't a man. No, sometimes you go through circumstances. See, this society here put pressure on certain family environment. And you got to see that, people. Now, I'm not giving no excuse for fathers. Oh, no. But sometimes we got to look at it beyond just what happened in our house. We got to look at a cultural view of things and begin to understand it more. It will help you feel better inside. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up like I am, because this is something that's going on, and this is something that is happening and will happen now. This knowledge is to occur now, not 2,000 years ago. It is to occur now, and you need to know it. And the setting of it have to be now. Why is the setting got to be now? Because the scripture was made for now. And I'm going to show you the setting of it at the same time. See, right now we're having a crisis. We have an economic crisis as a culture. You may not have it in your personal life, but as a culture. We're having social crisis as a culture. We're having political crisis as a culture. We're having moral crisis, trying to understand a sense to why this thing happening like this from God as a culture. We're having problems with medical problems and other problems that deal with the diet and appetite, what we're bringing to our life as a culture. And those areas, those 5 areas, are the 5 areas of life that God gave you commandments in the beginning. God said, be more. He blessed man, that is more. And he said, be fruitful. That's economically. Everything economically comes from the earth. That's the base of the cross. He said, multiply. That is sociology. He said, subdue. That's why you owe your right hand in the court of law. That is political. Then he gave you a diet and appetite. That's where these other four meet up in the middle. That is what the cross is all about. The 5 divine laws of God, my people. And you got to walk in them. Sin have to be understood when you're out of balance. So when you're out of balance in any of those 5 areas, you're walking in sin. We look at it, the symptoms of sin, and we call that sin itself. That is the symptoms of sin. You got to hit it in the butt before we get to that other level. And that's what's going on. That's why you need a father and a mother in the house to teach those children how to do right and keep them in the right path. And you need the mom and the father in the church, in God's will. In God's will. And I'm not coming dishing the church and how people came, because that's the foundation of the beginning of coming to this certain level. But this organization is to take you a step more. This organization is to take you in the inner person, to see Christ within, to see God within. And that way you're going to understand what the kingdom of God is all about. See, the kingdom is within. And it's time to build the kingdom within. It's time to build the temple of God within. And you need to see this. Now, I don't want to take too much time on this. Tribute. And you got to understand an act, a statement, or gift that is intended to show gratitude, respect, or admiration. Okay. Now, I'm going to get into this more over here, but I'm going to go down and I want to talk about some individuals. Could they see this through that? Could they see this at all?
Some of them.
Some of it. I want to move this briefly and I'll put it right back. I want them to see this. I want you to I want to show gratitude right now. I can't put everybody on the board, so if your name ain't on the board, just know that you're going to have your name on the board. Sister Oliver, Tracy Beard, Wesley Sight, Clara Woods, Dolores Rivers, Devin Griffin, Larry Alston, Nancy Randolph, Lord Hill, Robert and Joyce Cromwell, Sr. Now, I wanted you to see those names because you have to show respect to people that have taken their time to show you that they're with you. They're there to help you. See, you can talk the talk, but you got to be able to walk the walk, people. You can say, well, I'm with you, or I'm this and that, but we don't see you. We don't see no mail from you. We don't see anything from you. We don't see no tributes from you. We see nothing. But you say you're there. See, like I say, and that's the reason I moved this, so you can see these people. They are example of individuals who there. And there's others now, don't get me wrong. I could put them all on the board, but I use these for examples for now. They're example. Look at the end of the credits that Sister Corinthia put there, and you can see the other names as well. But what it is, you have close to 7,000 subscribers. We done had close to 1 million and plus more viewers. And yet, the individuals are, they're weeping. They like some fish. They fish in the lake and stuff. They eat your bait. Guppies and stuff. They eat your bait. But then they don't want you to catch them. Okay, they want you to feed them, but they don't want to respond. you know. And see, the fish that we catch, we make them a blessing to themselves, okay? So quit nibbling and start bringing something to the table, because God sees you, even when we can't see you. See, you out there in that great lake, you out there in that great river, you out there in that great sea, but you nibbling and ain't trying to help the whole out. See, we're not going to hurt you. We're going to help you. Because right now, you hanging around the fort. You hanging around the environment. But there's blessings for you to have. But you didn't haven't learned to give so you can receive. And see, you say, well, I don't know why God need it. No, God don't need it. You need it. See, you giving so God could bless you, because he know your attitude. He know your heart. And he know that if you give to the least one of mine, you have given to me. And that's what this is all about. So you sitting back holding back, and you ain't even going to church again to preach or nothing now. Your tithes and your offerings is in your bank account. Okay? And God trying to tell you it's time for you to start releasing that funds to his organization. That's why he done put you at home and not in the church right now. So you can wake up and see the truth. See, some of you know I'm telling you the truth. But then you stop hard. See, God people always been stiff-necked people. They don't want to do nothing but what they choose to do. But God want to break that now, because he loves you. He don't want to come talk harsh to you. He trying to tell you, come on, my son, come on, my daughter. I put him there for a reason. Listen to him. He's showing you love. He's not trying to hurt you. He's showing you truthism. And you need to listen to the truth, because that's what it's about. He said, when the Spirit of truth shall come, he should not speak of himself, but he should speak of everything that I tell him. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not deviating from this book. And I'm telling you who's my spiritual guide. Melchizedek is my spiritual guide that we know in the Egyptian language of thought. I'm telling you that. He's in the book, but he's been hidden in the book. He is in the book under that. But he's been hid for you not to know the truthisms. So you could keep following what the Eurocentric want you to follow, thus they could keep you in a voluntary slavery, being disciplined and obedient to their will. And I have told you, when you go and you pray to God and you go get your car, you don't go get it from the sky. You go get it from the Eurocentric man. When you go and you pray to God and ask God to give you a house, you don't go to the sky and get it. You go to the Eurocentric man. When you get the mortgage at the bank, you go to the Eurocentric man. See, that's how he done sought this up. You don't go to the church and get it. You go to the Eurocentric man in his business. See, he done fixed this thing always since Ptolemy I. Over 2,000 plus years ago, over 2,300 plus years ago, he fixed it that you will come to him, because he learned the knowledge of your fathers. He learned that knowledge, my people. He took the truth and threw it to the ground. And he engulfed that way of control. See, I tell people many times they understand this rain here. And they got to understand this rain. And that's why I waited to understand it, because I understand who I am. I don't wear this ring because of the fact that I think that it is the best thing. I wear this ring because I want to teach you a lesson. I want to teach you a lesson. This ring has the hologram, hexagram on it. And this ring represents Saturn. This ring represents the arts. This ring represents Horus. Okay? And you could wear this ring if you don't know what's going on, and it could bring bad energy to you. You go wear this ring if you're supposed to have this knowledge, and it could bring good energy to you. That's why you see in the Bible, you'll see the word written, I am the God of good and I'm the God of evil. That means God is the God of all. And he don't mean evil in the way that most people explain evil. See, it's evil when you're out of the will of God and you're in the will of self. That's evil. And God give you your permissive will. So if he give you your permissive will, he give you a will to be in opposition to what's good is. Okay? And you have to understand that. Now, why I brought that up is because you need to understand God more as we teach this lesson. You need to understand that some people could have something on and you think they're all holy and all that. And that's not necessarily so. They could be in an atmosphere that's not good. And you need to understand that. Don't let a person ornaments or don't let what they wear define them to you. Observe things, observe people, and understand them more. Okay, now, let's go on. We're going to go over here to Exodus. I'm leading to something, so I want you to think about what I said here about the story of Jesus, because the story about Jesus and the story of what Jesus given in the fish is the same story in Exodus. And most people don't know that. They can compare it because they think that Jesus, they put a time on it, how the Eurocentric have put the time on things, and they have said that Jesus was Jesus' time 2,000 years ago, and Moses' time was Moses' time 3,500 to 4,000 years ago. And that's not so. This book is telling you a story in the Old Testament and the New Testament is the same story. You just got to understand it. Jesus in this story and Moses in this story is the same energy. It's about the messenger. Jesus was a messenger. Moses was a messenger. And you have a messenger now. So when that messenger is teaching you, he must know what this story is all about and what this story is all about and how it fit us now. Now. That's what's important. And that's where I'm trying to come with this. So you can see what's really going on. Because a lot of individuals don't understand the layers of the secret, the sod. The sod. Exodus 12, 35 to 36. And the children of Israel, notice what it's saying, and the children of Israel, who is Israel? Israel is the code name for Louis. Israel is the code name for Jacob. So most people read the Bible and they read it in Genesis and they see, well, the angel of thought wrestled with Jacob in the mind, and they think that this is about Jacob name changing to Israel and etc., and that's not what it's all about. Because this Israel is now. This Israel and this Moses is the same person. It's an energy, my peoples. It's anointing, my peoples. It's anointing that is to rest on the individual to lead God's people, the children of him, the children of Israel, out of conditions of life that the Egyptians, Ptolemy energy, Ptolemy them doing back during the time of the Egyptian empire falling to the Alexander the Great them, that energy is done carried on and it's in America right now. And you must be delivered from the condition in America right now. And that's what this is all about. This is why the hell have broken up like it is. It's like it is right now in America because of the condition, where you at, the timing, what's supposed to be going on. It's about money. It's about being able to have enough funds, have the money out of the fish's mouth, have the gold and the silver, so you can put it together, so you can build yourself because of what God is taking America through now. You need gold. You need silver. You need to get rid of these dollars. You need gold and silver. You only need enough dollars to carry yourself on through your day-to-day activity. But your savings, your stuff that you have in the market, you need to take it out and buy pure gold. And this is what it's trying to say to you. Now, not later, now. And a lot of you smart enough to know what I'm saying. You know that that man is teaching the truth right now. So you think the dollar done hit the fan? You ain't seen nothing yet. And you sitting around here and saying, oh, everything's going to get to be all right, when the word of God saying it's not. I'm changing the thing. This is a paradigm shift. This is a reset. And you need to see it from the word of God. I don't mean to holler my people, but this is a critical time right now. You're going to have to wake the heck up now. You can't sit back and talk about what your preacher said. It's like Harriet Tubman, when she went in the Underground Railroad and she was telling the people, you need to go to freedom. They never been free. They never knew what the word freedom was all about. They sang the song, go down Moses, Pharaoh land, but they didn't know what it was about. And you in that condition now. And you need to come out of it, my people. And I'm talking to you like this because I love you. And I know what I'm talking about. I would not be talking like I did if I didn't know what I'm talking about. I could find other things to do. But no, God want to deliver his people. God want to bring you out of that condition. God wants you to be free. God got a territory in America he wants you to move to. God got a place in him that he wants you to participate in. He wants you to see him now. I'm trying to show you God working. That's what I told you in 2018. 18 was going to be a good year, 19 was going to be a bad year, and 2020 was going to be a grievous year about your money. It have happened like I said. Y'all need to see what God is doing. I don't give myself no credit. I tell you, Melchizedek, this is my spiritual guy. Melchizedek came to me. See, all the church knew that Jesus, when they looked at Jesus, they said he was the return of Melchizedek. All this stuff go back to Melchizedek, but you got to study and you got to understand. See, the preacher wasn't going to tell you what he learned in the deeper realm of his scholarship. He's not going to tell you that because it disturbed the status quo. It disturbed what you used to hear, and he will lose his people. So he wouldn't tell you the big truth. He could only tell you something that you could absorb in the dark age. But see, I can't tell you that like that, no. I can't do you like that. I got to tell you what Melchizedek wants you to know. The true Lord and Savior. The Old Testament talk about him. See, you got to interpret it the right way and you'll see him there. I'm not telling you nothing. Go back in my earlier lectures and you see the Lord God, Melchizedek. You'll see it talk about it. It'll give a breakdown. Sister Lorenthi also tell you. And it'll give you a breakdown. So you need to see these truthism now. It's very, very important. It's very, very important, my people. And please forgive me for hollering, but sometimes I got to let you see the emotions of what time it is. How significant it is right now. See, it don't matter who they put in that White House right now. Trump could be in there another 4 years. Or they could put Biden and Harris in there. But the next 2.5 years, Trump, Harris and Biden is not finna change this thing. I'm telling you. Later on, around 2023, Trump could do certain things. In 2024, he could do certain things. In 2025. But not before. Biden ain't finna do nothing, no 20 and nothing else. Okay? But it's for you to choose who you want. See, God's gonna work it out regardless for the benefit of his children, not for the benefit of the nation as a whole, the way it's going. You gonna be the one that gonna be the ones that bring America back in segments to the fold. The way it's supposed to be. But sometimes God got to move you to a certain location so you could build yourself. So as you build yourself, you can spread it back and build a nation as a whole. And you got to understand that. You got to understand this word because that's what it's showing right there. See, Egypt was the big power structure. Israel was secondary as they build themselves. But as David got to be who he was, then Israel began to rule all of it. And you got to see that. Israel began to rule all of it. And that's what you got to see. Now, Israel did according to the words of Moses. Moses is a Messiah. Moses is a messenger. We must not lose sight on Moses. Okay? It's a character. It's an energy that God wants you to know about. So Israel did according to the words of Moses. So that's why I don't really worry about y'all listening to me or not. Because I'm a messenger and you're going to do according to God, Israel. God people are going to listen. And they're going to move in this direction. Because they're going to see the truthism. So Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewelry of silver and jewels of gold and remnant. And the Lord gave the people's favor. I want you to hear this now. The Lord gave the people's favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lend unto them things as they required. It's very important right now. I want you to look at the environment right now. Okay? I need to go get something for you. And it's a chest in my closet. You bring that. It's sitting down the floor. I meant to have that. It's a coin. I want them to see. Because it's part of the prop of this. I want you to see this coin. It's a gold coin. I want to be able to show it to you. Because you need to see this. This is very important. Now, you got to see the jewels of silver and jewels of gold. Why would he give silver and gold? Hold on, I want to get this to y'all. I want y'all to see this. Just have a little patience with me because you need to see this. Okay. Now, he said he got it from the Egyptians. Understand what this is. This is pure gold. This is pure gold. Okay? What they call 1 gram. Okay? This is 24 karat. This is pure gold. Okay? Now, this is what they're talking about right here. You're getting from the Egyptian. This is what I got in my hand. Not gold certificates from the stock market. Not this big thing or whatever they call it. This is pure gold. This is what you need. This is what this organization is doing its best to convince you that you need to turn your stock. You need to turn your 5041K, all this other stuff. You need to be able to cash that crap in and get this. Because this is what's going to help get you through, along with you doing the right thing and staying close to God. You do not need your stuff floating around in the market and when you getting in the bank when you getting 0% interest and all this nonsense. Okay? The black family have over $100 billion in the bank, and they have none of this here. This is what you're going to need right now. This is what the kings of yours took when they felt like their kingdom was going to be destroyed or somebody was going to overtake it. They took their gold that they had accumulated and they sent it over to the new world and they hid it because they knew with this gold they could build their empire back. You got to understand this. With this gold, you could build yourself back. I want to share something with you about this because that's what it's about here. Around 2006, 2005, 2006, the gold was like $300 and something an ounce. God gave me a vision about something I prayed about, and he woke me up, and I sat up in the bed, and I told my wife, I said, the gold price is going to change. It's going to go up tremendously. And she was like the typical wife, okay, now let me go back to sleep. But what I had, God showed me a revelation. And in that revelation, he showed me that gold was going to change. Now, since then, gold have went up to what we would say now. This little coin here, which is what's called a $50 gold piece. This coin here is worth $1,900 right now. This is an ounce. Over $1,900. I think 1,930 something like that. That's how much it done went since around 2006. You see what I'm saying? People. This coin, within the next 2 years or so, this coin is going to topple out close to $4,000 an ounce. Why do you think I'm talking to you right now? You need to wake up. And if it don't be there shortly after, this coin gonna double the price. Because this economy is not gonna be the same, because God wants changes in the people. And God is calling his people out of this system of rule like it is. This system of rule like it is. Let me tell you something, people. Don't ask, don't tell. What the heck do you think that was all about? That's the Sodom and Gomorrah attitude in America. Don't ask, don't tell. An open road to homosexuality. Marrying the same sex. Come on now. You may not look at it as nothing. You may look at it, oh, we got a right to do that. We got a right to do that. But about 30-something years ago, the psychologists and psychiatrists looked at it as a mental problem. It was a mental illness. But no, you can't talk about that, because they're going to pass laws now that you got to be careful about what you talk. I'm just telling the truth. If I'm not telling the truth, prove me wrong. See, God won't change it. It ain't just that. Whoa, no, it ain't just that. No, that's just one part of it. That's a symptom of the problem. That ain't the problem itself. The problem itself that's on the area of social. They teaching the woman, I've been teaching the woman that she don't need a man. You could do all this stuff yourself. You just go out there and work and get you 2 jobs if necessary, and you can make it. You can have that 3-bedroom, 3-bath home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. You can have all this other stuff. But just do it yourself. You don't need the man. Okay? You can do it yourself. You can raise your own children yourself. You see, he ain't. It's always he ain't fit for you. See, he been to jail. See, they don't tell the system that they wheeled him around and put him in a condition where he cannot do what he need to do. And he made a mistake. You ain't forgiven for that mistake. You are put in a situation where you can't work with the corporations because they don't want you. Now, you in a spin wheel in the prison system because you're always trying to do something to survive and help take care of them children, and seem like you can never help take care of them children because what they do, they spinning you. You ever seen your computer spin? You can't get no real action. They spinning you in your culture and you don't see it. And your survival is in the Word of God. Your survival is in this book right here. And you can't even open yourself up to know that it's there, because the preachers that have been teaching, they've been teaching the dark age teaching and not the age of light teaching. And that's why God has to send you a messenger. He has to send you a messenger so you can learn the truthism. Now, right now, God is going to show you favor. He's going to show you favor. And I'm going to tell you something. Some of you got them and got your money and the business things and part of your job and all that. I'm going to tell you something. You need to sneak right on now so God can show you favor and take your little money out of there while it got some value to it and go buy you some gold. You could, if you ain't got it, you can send your money to the organization, help donate this, help sponsor this organization and donate it and say, well, this is for offering and this is for my gold. And we will definitely buy your gold and give you the same kind of gold right here. And you will have this. And if you don't have enough to buy the $1,900, send what you can and you will buddy you up with other people where y'all can buy this. And you can have this. And it will be under your name. It'll best be sent in a donation. So when we give it back to you, it'll be a donation. You understand? That way we can keep all this legal stuff and all this other trickery stuff and tax stuff out your face. Okay? Now, what we want you to understand is right now is this. Right now this. This is the time to get your gold, and this is the time to get your silver. This is the time to get the money out the fish's mouth, okay? You got to get the money, and you got to be able to use it properly, because it's going to require it later on to build yourself as a people. You're going to need it, my people. When you read about that gold and at Moses' time and that silver, that is talking about you right now. That was put in there for you right now. God wants to show you favor. He wants to be able to do this. And I want to show you something. Now, I'm talking economics. But I want you to see something. See, your obedience and your discipline to God is going to take you to another level. Because what you're going to do here, look, Israel did according to the words of the messenger. See, they did according to the words of the messenger. By you doing according to the words that I speak, God is going to show you favor. Not only in your economics, in your family, in your morals, in your health. God is going to show you favor because you're going to listen to the words of the messenger. See, when you're in this ministry, God is going to bless you. And see, when some people straddle the fence and they're not totally in, some things can happen. And we are not accountable for that. See, we tell you, listen to the words of the messenger. Don't do your own thing and say, well, all right, but, No, listen to the words of the messenger. So God could bless you and show you favor. Because God wants to elevate his peoples right now. The reason the church is shut down right now, so you can hear the word of God in the clouds. Two-way. Clouds technology and the cassette records. That's what you got to have. You got to have both. That's what the clouds is all about. You got many ministers coming through cloud technology now, but they're not coming through the cassette records. And they're still bringing you the same old. That's not what God got. When God said he's going to come in the clouds, that means both. That means cloud technology, the technology, and the cassette records. You need to see that. Let's go with Exodus. Exodus 40 to 42. Exodus 40 to 42. Now the sojourn of the children of Israel who dwelled in Egypt was 430 years. Now I want to stop right there. 430 years. Now you're going to see in Exodus the 15th chapter, 13, 14 verse. It talk about to Abraham, thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not there. They shall be afflicted for 400 years. They will serve them for 400 years. Afflicted and served them for 400 years, but that nation will I judge. Okay, now, that is talking about the same time. But that's one prophecy in the midst of this prophecy. Let me see what it said. It say 400, then it say and 30 years. The 400 is a prophecy by itself, but they are connected. And the 30 years is a prophecy by itself, but both is connected because one stopped and the other one proceeded. The 400 years is the affliction. The 400 years is where your mind ain't going to never come. You're never going to have the right people bringing you to the right state of mind to get out of the condition. The 30 years is coming out of the condition. You are in the 30 years right now. Why? Why do I say that? Because from 1619, when they brought you and started the laws, understand God did with laws, the laws to afflict you in August, around August the 1st, when the captain brought that petition to the assembly and they wrote laws on how to condition or how to punish the indentured servant / slave, that's when that began. And that went from 1619 to 2019. And right now you are at 2020. You're going into that 30-year period, the beginning of that 30-year period. And in that 30-year period, you got to get this thing right. That's the Joshua era. You got to get it right. So they don't spend that 144,000 days on you, or that 400 years on you. 144,000 days is about 360 divided into 144. They give you 400 years. Those are prophetic years. Okay. But I'm going to deal with the 400, 365.25, what you used to knowing about. Now, what we got here, we got to see this because God want to bring you out of condition. So what he said, now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwell in Egypt. Now the children of Israel, the code name Israel is Lewis. So that means that they are to come in this condition, but they are, God already assigned them to be the children of this particular person. Okay? So it don't matter whether you was here before he was born, you still the children of Israel. Because God have made Israel, have made Lewis a prince. One with man and one with God. And so you have to see this. Now, the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. That means you're going to have different religions, different denominations, different peoples. Although they're going to be of the children of Israel, they're going to still be Baptists. They're still going to be Protestant. They're still going to be whatever. But they're going to be of the children of Israel. And they're going to come out at that particular time. In other words, by 39 or something like that, whatever it is, they're going to already be out of that condition. Okay, they're going to already be out into a territory that God has prepared for them. And we have told you the territories, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Now God may add other states, but right now, that's what he given me. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. That is also the 4 state areas where the Sherman papers say that the black man or the black family or the ADOSs had. And then they later took it away. Now it's not just that 30-mile boring, it's the whole darn states. And God want to bring you to that area. And right now, most people don't know, most black people already living there. It's just a large percentage of them haven't got there yet. And the ones that live in there, the large percentage that haven't got there don't know what it really is. And they got to know where that land fit with the Bible. If they knew where that land fit with the Bible, they've been done overtook it and overshadowed. But God did not want that to happen then. He wanted it to happen at this time. Everything deals with timing. God is about timing. And we got to understand that. Now, here we go a little further. It is the night to be most observed. In other words, that particular year, that particular time, it's going to be like an Independence Day. It's going to be a time that you're going to observe it unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generation. See, there's going to be something special when you were brought out of that. It's going to be something special because you're going to know who brought you out of that. The Lord God thought of the Lord, who we call the Lord God Melchizedek, your king and priest unto the Most High God. He is the one that going to bring you out of that condition by using the messenger. And you got to see this messenger is here. This messenger, and they disguise him in Jesus. See, they took them writings and they made a story out of it. And they made a story where you could believe that this happened 2,000 years ago when that is to happen now. And I know what you've been taught. That is one of the most hardest things to give. I heard one of the people say, well, you can't take my Jesus from me. I'm not taking your Jesus from you. I'm getting you to understand your Jesus. Your Jesus is not that drawing that the Eurocentric man put on the cross. Your Jesus always been in heaven. He have always operated from the heavens and blessed man down here and blessed mankind and blessed the priests and the leaders, the kings down here. Horus have always sent that crown down here to bless man so they could do a certain work. And he is the one that blessing your messenger that you could do a certain work. Sometimes people don't realize that your messenger and Jesus could look just alike, and you don't even know that. Read John. John said, I seen one like of the Son of Man. He told you he seen one look just like him, look just like Jesus. But no, oh, that's impossible. Come on, people, wake up. The Bible wants to speak to you, but you got to understand the language. Now, we're going over here. We're going over here. Okay. Now, this is telling you about this is something that we're going to be talking about for the next 3 months. If you look at our video, you're going to see a video with a commercial on it. We trying to get to this next level, and we need your participation. Okay? Cross Rocking Corporation and Louis Armstrong Ministry need $100,000 for advertisement. Now, most people say, well, that's a lot, but no. You have close to 7,000 subscribers. That really is not a lot. But do you expect all 7,000 subscribers to help you? Like I say, some of them like guppies. Some of them have it, but they don't want to give it. They don't realize to be blessed by God, you got to learn to give to receive. You ain't giving to God that God needs your money. You giving to God because God needs your faith. God needs your ability. He needs your attention to pay attention to what he's doing. He's building this and he wants your participation in this. God needs your participation. And in your participation, you could give your money to the ministry so it could grow, so it could reach other peoples. And this is the same thing that is shown over here. To them, me, and thee. This is what it's about. So you cannot sit on the sideline and say, I believe in God, I accept God, or Melchizedek as who he is, and I see Allah as being hidden in the Bible, but yet you ain't participating because you're taking your funds and you're doing everything but what you need to do with it. And God ain't going to deal with that. God's going to let them ones who feel like they could do and get to him without it, they're going to be in this spirit that they don't even know what's happening. And then things will start happening in their life that they don't know why it's happening. Because they're not being disciplined. They're not doing the right thing. And some of them that need to be paying their tithes and their offerings to this organization, and they say, well, I ain't got to go to church, or my church, I ain't got to pay nothing. And God's trying to deliver you from that condition and bring you over here, and you feel like, okay, this is virtual, this is on the thing, so I ain't got to, they don't see me, I don't see them. But you got to know that God see you. God see you. This ain't about man seeing you about anything. It's about God seeing you and the love he has for his children. Who he loves, he'll chastise. And you don't want God to chastise you. And I don't want God to chastise you. So I want you to start paying attention and help this ministry get where it needs to get to. And it's very important. Now, on the other hand, I'm saying something else. We need this. We have about 70 people right now. This donors that's continuously. We could depend on them, 70. And they're sending what they can. Okay. Now, we're asking you to help this out. I had a sheet there. I had a sheet. Where did I put it at? I had a sheet. Oh, yeah. I had a sheet that's dealing with this, okay? Because I'm asking certain ones in the audience to participate. Because God drove on my heart last night to write this out, okay? And I'm going to do my best to be the first one to bring forth. If we had 10 people, now notice, if we had 10 people that will donate $5,000, okay? And people say, oh man, that's a lot. Yeah, to some they ain't got it, that's a lot. But we got a lot of people in the audience got it, okay? See, people can't sit there and say what the other man that got it ain't got. You know, they found a woman one time, she was like homeless, and they realized that woman was a millionaire. And I think she donated some money, I'm not mistaken, to a school, or donated some money towards some certain organization. You can't sit there and say what somebody got and what somebody ain't got. Well, they ain't got it. How do you know what these people got? You can't do that. Only thing you could really know is what you got. So let's understand that. Start sharing with God and God movement what you got. And $5,000, we need 10 people to send $5,000 in. We need 10 people to send $2,500 in. We need 10 people to send $1,500 in. We need 10 people to send $1,000 in, and that will get you $100,000. That means you don't need but 40 people that could do this. But we know that that ain't gonna always happen like that. So we ask everybody to send what you can toward this, the advertisement for Cross Rock Incorporated. We need that. We're trying to do it within 3 months, and we need your input. Me, myself, I don't have this and that, but I got to make sacrifices. So I just told my wife, I said, baby, I need to show that they be the lead to this. So I need to go back in my little savings for my retirement. I got to go back in it, and I got to get something out of there. And she said, okay. And so my $5,000 is going to be the first $5,000 that's going to be put in there on Monday. It will be there. Then I sat back and I said, well, God, you know, I ain't got this and that, but yet I got to leave this. And I heard a voice say, not only you got to be the first with the $5,000, you got to, before those 90 days up, come with the $2,500 on top of that. What? Then you got to come with the $1,500 on top of that. What? Then you got to come with the $1,000 on top of that. You got to be the first, one of the ones out of the 10. That's $10,000. But then I look back, okay, I just bought another car. I'm trying to sell this car. Let me hurry up and get rid of that car. Okay, that's $4,000 right there. Okay, I got to work a little hard on the job or do a little more job and do that. That's $2,000 right there. Whoa, okay. Just be careful, do the right thing, and you got your $10,000 for those 3 months. See, it's not hard if you let the Holy Spirit talk to you. See, I know some people out there, guys, some people of this organization. They probably could pay the whole thing off, but that's not what I'm asking them to do. I'm asking them to do their best, okay? I'm asking them to do their best. Don't hold out on God. Don't hold out on God. If you believe that this ministry is from God, and you believe that you are to be connected to this ministry, send the money so we could get this $100,000 done. Send the money. And once that $100,000 done, the people's gonna know it. They're gonna know it right away. Okay? So we ain't gonna leave them dead. Well, okay, they sent $100,000, now let's give them send some more. No. That task was done for that. Because we know we got more things on the road later. But we got to deal with one thing at a time. And that's what we're looking for. Your participation. And that's what it's all about. Now, this is what we need to do. And we need you to turn your money into gold and silver now. Not stock market gold certificates. We need you to do this one. We need you to buy real pure gold. We need that for yourself. And you will see the results of it later. So, and like I say, take that money out of the bank and stuff and start buying gold. Now, I'm not telling you to take all your money out of the bank, and I know the banks may not like me saying this, but I'm talking to my audience, okay? And I'm telling you what does say the Lord to me, to you, and that's what you need to do. And you could ask any economist or anybody that's dealing with economics these days in the market, they will tell you, this man telling you the safest way you could have your money, keep your money right now. This is the safest way and the best way. Now they could say, well, I want to make sure you buy this market because this is going to grow and that grow. But if they say, look, will this keep me right? Will this keep me where I need to be? They can't tell you nothing. Honestly, if they tell you the truth, that's it right there. He's telling you the truth. Check me. Now, the weight of gold. The weight of gold is measured in troy ounce. 1 troy ounce is 31.1054768 grams. However, it's pure is measured in carats. It's like your diamond is measured in carats. Your gold is measured in carats. And the carats is the measurement of the purity of gold alloys. with other metals. Okay, now some gold, and you buy some gold in the stores and you don't realize it's not 24 carats, it's not pure gold. Okay, we're asking you to get pure gold. That way you could buy these kind of coins with the Indian head coin, with the buffalo in the back, pure gold. You could buy these coins. They are pure gold, 24 karat gold. That's what we're asking you to buy, just not buy gold. If you got gold, you could also send it and we could have it melt down. Then we could tell you what you need to get. But we prefer you kind of like handling that yourself. But you need to have pure gold. You need pure gold. Okay. We're more interested in you sending the funds to help this organization and buy your gold. That way you can help the organization and we could take that gold, the other money, and buy your gold. And if you don't have, just say for instance, well, I ain't got but $1,000. So what I do with $1,000? We'll pair your $1,000 up with somebody else $900 or something, and that actually between you and them, y'all will own a coin like this. You'll have your amount that you paid in the coin, and it'll have their amount that they paid in the coin. Some people may not have but $500, and you have 3 people with 4 people all together with $500. We'll buy you a coin like this, minus the 10 to 15% interest. I mean, not interest, but we'll put it into the organization to help it grow. Okay, and minus that, we'll buy your coin, and your name will be with that particular coin. With that coin, along with those other people who helped pay for that coin. There's a way to get things done, people. I don't expect everybody to have $1,900 to just around it off $2,000 to go and buy a coin, because people got to gradually. But if you gradually put your tithes and your offerings into this organization, we will use your tithes and your offerings to build this organization and make sure you get the coins that you need to help you when this thing hit the fan and you have a need for it, or you come to the organization and you say, I'm sister so-and-so, or I'm brother so-and-so, and it's getting a little rough for me, and I need to move to the promised land, but I ain't got no money, but I sold into this organization, so could you help me? And we will tally up the books and we will say, oh, Sister Martha, you got $40,000 up in here. So what you need today? Well, I don't need Brother Armstrong, but 20 of them, so I could get stationary, and we will have them to break you off $20,000. See, we want to build this like that. That way you could have a safe trip, and plus we will have people to make sure they move you in a decent price to get you where you need to go, and we will make sure we have housing available for you to get there. See, we got this thing already planned out, but we need you to understand how to do that Moses thing right now, the Israel thing, because it's really for you. That book and that stuff was written for you for now, and we trying to adjust you to that. And God said He's going to show favor with you, and God also said in that word that you will listen to me. So the ones that's supposed to listen to me, it's time to move on what I'm saying. It's that time. I love it, people. I love when I'm in that fine line of the truth. He said, I'll give them one heart and one path. This is where your heart's supposed to be with this ministry, and this is where the path's supposed to be with this ministry, my people. This is it. This is the time. This is the Exodus. This is that time. But you don't just move in the Exodus. You prepare yourself like Moses had those peoples to prepare themselves. Like that ministry at that time had them peoples to prepare themselves. It was written in there for you people, for you to know that this is the time that it's really talking about. And you need to see that. Now, we're going to deal with things, because this is dealing with timing. And we're going to work our way on down, because Minister Corinthia is telling me it's time to wind it down. Okay, she threw her hand up there 5 minutes. Okay, now Genesis 15, 13 to 14. I want you to read this, to go to the scripture and read this. Genesis 15, 13 to 14, to tell you about the 400 years. When was the 400 years? From 1619 to 2019. If you look at the days, 365.25 days a year. Genesis 41 chapter. Now in 15, it was talking to Abraham. 41 is telling you about the same time, but the ending of that time. This is the time when Joseph interpreted the Pharaoh's dream, and that dream was 21 years of events that are going to happen, and Joseph represents Moses, Joseph represents Jesus, Joseph represents Michael. That person has to be on the scene and show you what's going to happen at those 21 years. We wrote in this book, both books, what's going to happen on the chart in those 21 years. Okay? I was here to show you before this lecture series came in on the internet, in the book. This book got a chart that's 100% accurate right now. In Joseph, you've seen a cow, you've seen a corn, you've seen a good cow, you've seen a bad cow, and you've seen the bad and the good, the grievous and the bad. When it came to the corn, you've seen a good corn, you've seen a bad corn, and the bad and the good. It's a cycle. The cow represents economics, the corn represents natural disasters. Study the history of America from 2000 to 2020, my people. It is 100% accurate. Good, bad, grievously bad. Economics, good, bad, grievously bad. Natural disasters, good, bad, grievously bad. Economics, good, bad, grievously bad. Natural disasters. The Word of God show you this in this book. And God let his messenger reveal it to you. That's what this ministry is all about, my people. The truthism of God. And you need to see this. No other ministry ever brought that out. That revelation was given through this ministry for you because of the responsibility of this ministry. It's supposed to bring you the truth because God has put a man of God in front of you to deliver you the truth. Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. But when it comes to me delivering the will of God, I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to tell you what thus say the Lord. And you need to see that. God chose me, not man. So man can't tell me this or that. Only God can tell me this or that. But I will negotiate and talk and reason with man. Because God said, I will make you have power with men and with God. One with men and with God. So you got to know how to talk and deal with mankind as well. Now, what happened in Daniel 8:13 to 14? You got 2,300 years that it say that the truth will be thrown to the ground and they will be given a host. What host were they given? They was given Serapis. Serapis later on turned to Yahshua. He turned from Yahshua to Jesus. Now, most people don't know this. Study the history. At Serapis' time, those people that followed Serapis was known as the bishops of Christ. Okay? Christians. Christians did not start 2,000 years ago, as they say at the time of Jesus Christ. Christians started at the time of Serapis. That's when people was known as Christians. But you never learned that. You took for granted that it started at the time when they say Jesus walked the earth. It did not start then. Check me. Prove me wrong. Now, we see that 2,300 years from Serapis' time, and when Ptolemy had his son to compile the Soterion, which this book came from, because they changed it. People, they changed it. They changed it. That's why this book is in code. They changed it. So you could see it not from the Egyptian way, but you could see it from the Greek way. That's what they did. They changed it. They took the truth and they threw it to the ground. And you had, it said 2,300 days, as you're going to see. The Revelation show that it's 2,300 years. You got to understand, you can't just take this book and read it, 2,300 days. That's what Newton tried to do. Newton tried to learn the truth to that. This was one of the big pet peeves that Newton had when he was trying to understand it. People don't know that Isaac Newton was trying to understand this here part right here, but he didn't live at our time. If he lived at our time, then it would have been easy, but by him being at that time, certain truth was not given to him. But it's 2,300 years. What time is that from? From 283, when Ptolemy I had his son to compile the Soterion, to 2017. Now I want you to see how these numbers match up. 2018, 2020, 2017. Daniel 9, 25 to 27. You're going to see a prophecy telling you about the coming of the Messiah, the Prince. You're going to see also a prophecy talking about Israel. Israel at the same time is started in that same time, and they're going to talk about 70 years of Israel before the building of this, and they're going to be building the temple, and building of Israel. That Israel over there in the west, okay? But also it's going to tell you of the coming of the Messiah, the Prince. Now, in it, they're going to show you, in the coming of the Messiah, the Prince, they're going to show you 69 years, okay? And they're going to start from when Israel became an established nation. When a United Nation made Israel and Palestine a state, okay? And that's happened in November around the 29th of 1947. You go 69 years from that, that's 2016. Now, you see that 2016. Now, Revelation 8:1, you're going to see 21 years, what it is. It say, you say it's in silence in heaven for the space of half an hour. Heavenly time, earthly time is 1,000 years to 1 day of heavenly time, okay? And you see silence in heaven for the space of half an hour. You got 24 hours in a day. You got 48 half an hours in a day. So you got to take 48 and divide it into 1,000, and you get roughly 21 years. That's from 2000 to 2020. See, all these revelations got you right here. Revelations got you right here. See, it's a time zone. And what you need to do is understand these things, understand how critical this time in you is. 16, 17, 19, 20. This is a time zone. This is a time where you are summing things up now. You get to that point where these revelations is being fulfilled, and you need to see that. This is very important. Now, I got 1 minute left. The donations, we need 8 more people to donate the $500 toward the book Hidden Secret. Only 8 people now. And also those individuals who have already donated toward this book, we have many of your names. But what we need you to do, we need you to start putting together your little writing, your line, and your name and your line or quote or what you want to say. Now, we don't limit it to no more than 12 to 15 words or less. And we want to be able to put that into the book under your name so we could fulfill what we said. Now, it getting to that time. We still got a lot of work to do with that book because of this COVID-19 things and everything being pushed back. Now, don't get angry at me because it's just that kind of timing that we're dealing with. But right now, I need you to start the ones who already done sent their money. I need you, if you don't want to put your name there, it's fine. Send that. But I will need you to get with me to this address, 7536. Get with me with a letter with this address or a card with this address and tell me what you want, quotes you want in there under your name, and make sure we get it right because you know who you are and we got a record of you as well. So what we want you to do is time to start sending the card or the letter so we can know exactly what you want and we could get back with you because we have to edit it and make it certain ways so it's readable and etc. So, but we need you to start now. This is the time now for your participation in the book now. It's time for you to start bringing your stuff forward so we can add it into the book because it's going to be in one area. And it's going to be 40 different people that we asked for. We asked 40 different people, and there's going to be 40 different people named in this book, okay? Along with the other 8s that are going to be sending their money. We need it, as soon as possible. And so we could get that done. Now, we ought to need you to donate to this organization because what we need to build this, but we got to keep the regular stuff going as well. So it's do this here. We got our regular upkeep and stuff we need to have, and so we need that now. So they don't exempt nobody from donating. Say, well, you say, well, I ain't got that there. I don't want to be a part of that 40, okay? But you still need to be a part of this and part here, okay? You need to be a part of this part here. And you need to build yourself that you could be a part of this part here, okay? Now, and we need to do that. Even if you don't have it, say, well, I want to participate in trying to bring that $100,000. Well, send what you can and make a statement on Givelify, etc. Say, well, I want to put so and so toward that to help that out. And that's what we want. We want those free thinking, those thinkers to think that, hey, look, I can't do it this way, but I can do it this way, Rep. I can make sure this is something this way. And that's what we want. We want those type of individuals to participate. But we need you to send your donation to Louis Armstrong Ministry, 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210. Also, Crossrock Incorporated, you can use that same address, or you can send it to Give Lafai on the charitable. Crossrock Incorporated on the Give Lafai on the charitable. Or you could do PayPal. PayPal, you could put you could put ArmstrongLewisJ@gmail.com. And we need you to do that, and we need to build this organization. But this is a critical time right now, my people. I'm coming telling you the truth. I'm coming teaching you the truth. You can't sit back and just look at this thing. Probably how you have in the church and all this. Somebody coming to resurrect you and take you in the clouds and all that. I heard the scripture say, "Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven." We got to understand that. God wants to build his kingdom here. So if God's going to build his kingdom here, where you going? You're going nowhere. When you get ready to go to glory land and you die, you're going to be there. But right now, you got to build his kingdom here, because that's what his plans are. For thy kingdom to come on earth as it is in heaven. And I say to you, thank you, and have a beautiful day.